In this video, I finally resolved my 2005 Moto Guzzi Breva 750's starting issues. So I can go from this to this. So that even surprised me. Welcome to episode 2 of my Project Motorcycle series, Project Aquila. If you follow my motovlog YouTube channel, Blacktop Roaming, you may know that my Breva suffers from a condition technically known as "why do you only start when you freaking feel like it?" syndrome. Well, I've had enough and it's time to dig into the electronics to solve this issue once and for all. She won't start. First, I feel as though I should at least share my credentials, so you understand why I'm qualified to speak on the subject of motorcycle electronics. While I don't have some fancy engineering degree like YouTube sensations Mark Rober and Superfast Matt, I do have one of these. And no, I haven't ever worked for NASA or Tesla like Mark Rober and Superfast Matt, but I did spend several years working for the U.S. Air Force Space Command, which is now called U.S. Space Force. So I guess you could say I worked for Space Force before it was cool. But you could only say that if working for Space Force now was cool. Which I'm sure it totally is. Anyway, here's proof. In a previous video, you can see an official U.S. Air Force Space Command emblem back there. It's currently stored in a top-secret, undisclosed location. By the way, don't ask how I got that emblem. Anywho, now that's out of the way, allow me to explain the fundamental principle in which motorcycle electronics operate. That fundamental principle is freaking magic. Now you know that, let's dig into the Moto Guzzis problem. First, we need to remove the seat to get access to the electrics. Aha! I see the problem right away. You see, because motorcycle electronics work on the principle of magic, every motorcycle has a magical wizard, and it's that little guy's job to make it work. The problem with my Breva is for some reason my wizard is missing. So this is how things are supposed to work. You put the key in the ignition and turn the bike on. This wakes the wizard up and he stands at the ready to do his job. Once you push the starter button, the wizard magically follows the continuity path from the battery to the starter relay, all the way back up to the starter button, and then all the way back down to the starter solenoid, and gives it a swift kick. If all goes to plan, the motorcycle turns over and starts. But, as my wizard is missing, my bike won't start. Let's see if we can find him. He's not under the couch or the cushions. Rosie, you're no help. Maybe he's in here. Or one of these. Aha! I figured I'd find him here. Look at him. He's partied out and hungover. No wonder he doesn't have the energy to do all that work. I researched online to see if I could find a solution to help my wizard out. It turns out this is a common problem with Moto Guzzis of this era. Luckily, it's such a common problem that there's a company in Houston, Texas that makes a part that will solve this issue. The company is called MPH Cycles, and they make and sell a part called the Startus Interruptus. Let's open up the package and see what we have. Okay, we have some instructions. They put a phone number on the instructions in case I have questions. Alright, we've got some wiring and a couple connectors. This looks simple enough. Time to get back to the Guzzi. We need to find the starter relay. It's the relay that has one orange and one yellow wire. This relay on the right looks to be the correct one, but let's check the wires to all the others to be certain. Yep, I think this is our relay. Okay, now we need to disconnect the starter relay. And with it now disconnected, I need to find my new part, the Startus Interruptus, which is somewhere in my pocket. I just need to match up the connections and push one end onto the original starter relay wiring connector, then match the other end up with the starter relay itself. And reinstall the relay on its holder on the motorcycle's frame. The next step is to install this wire to the positive side of the battery terminal. I've already loosened the battery bracket to get the terminals in a position where I can access them with a screwdriver. What the Startus Interruptus does is it creates a shortcut for our good friend the Wizard. He now has a more direct path to get the battery's juice to the starter in order to make it go. If you want a more technical answer as to why this works, just remember, magic. With the wire on the positive terminal, I'll go ahead and tighten up the bracket to secure the battery. And now for the moment of truth. Will this little part work? Oh yeah, it worked. So that even surprised me. I haven't ridden this bike in several months. I thought the battery was going to be totally toast, but that kit works pretty good. So there you have it. If you have an older Moto Guzzi and it suffers from poor starting, reach out to MPH Cycles and give their Startus Interruptus a try. I'll put a link to their website below. Now I'm not so worried whether or not this bike will start. No thanks to this guy.